My son Paul was in a boat wreck a couple years ago, and there's been he was charged with being arrested for being the driver. There's been a lot of negative publicity about that, and there's been a lot of people online just really vile stuff. But when Paul's out and about, I mean, people routinely, I don't think I know the full story, because I don't think they give it to me, but I mean, he's been punched and hit and just attacked a lot.
You know, it was one of the first things out of his mouth when police responded to the shooting deaths of his wife and son. Alex Murdaugh talking about the boat crash, the boat crash, the boat crash. Before the family murders, it was all about that boat crash case. And as we learned during the course of Alex Murdaugh's trial where he was convicted, it seemed like that was a, no pun intended here, a triggering event in his life that led to the unraveling of all the things that he had been doing to all these people for all these years. And the trial for that boat crash now is going to happen. There's going to be a trial for it. Despite the fact that Paul Murdaugh is dead, the civil suit lives on against the Alec himself. He's one of the defendants. So with this trial coming up, there's some developments in it. But for those of you who don't know the backstory on what really started everything and put the Murdaughs in the spotlight, Chanley Painter has the story tonight.
What bridge is, Paul, what bridge is this?
We got a water emergency.
There's 6 of us and 1 is missing.
We have a boat incident underneath the Archer Creek Bridge.
February 24th, 2019, approximately 2:30 a.m. Paul Murdaugh and 5 of his friends were on their way home after a night of partying. The teens were in Paul's father's boat, which they took out that night to avoid DUI checkpoints.
So we've got 1 person presumably in the water missing.
We're under the only bridge in Archer.
There's 6 people on board. They currently have 1 missing.
Who's missing?
Female Mallory Beach is missing.
19-year-old Mallory Beach, her boyfriend, Anthony Cook, and Paul Murdaugh were thrown from the boat after it crashed into a bridge piling. Paul and Anthony Cook made it back to shore, but Mallory Beach was killed. Her body was recovered a week later.
Within 2 months, Paul Murdaugh was facing criminal charges as well as civil suits brought by the Beach family and the survivors of the boat crash. The accident shined a spotlight on Paul and his powerful, well-connected family.
Everybody knows the Murdaughs. You know, it's a household name that's been here forever.
According to the prosecution, the day Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were killed, Alex Murdaugh was under extreme pressure. He had allegedly been stealing from clients and his law firm for more than a decade, and he was working on financial disclosures for an upcoming hearing in the boat crash case. Looking back on the repercussions of that tragic night, Mallory Beach's boyfriend, Anthony Cook, shared in the HBO documentary Low Country, The Murdaugh Dynasty, what he believes the impact of her death is.
There's a whole lot of people getting justice because of her. None of it would have ever been discovered if it hadn't been for that boat wreck.
So this trial scheduled for August. Alex Murdaugh, one defendant, the other defendant, where the alcohol came from, Parker's Kitchen, Parker's Corporation, are defendants as well. So now one of the developments in this case is that Alex Murdaugh, a guy who we saw him testify, loves to talk, right, has been ordered to be deposed. Take a look. The judge order states that the Department of Corrections is to make defendant Alex Murdaugh available for a deposition at an agreed-upon time, date, and location and means scheduled by counsel for the parties and SCDC, South Carolina Department of Corrections. So it looks like it's a go. They're going forward. And, you know, part of all civil cases, everyone gets deposed, so they get questions. We saw some of the depositions that were done became evidence at the trial in the Johnny Depp case. So let's bring back in our think tank. Erica Wilson, Marie Pereira, and Bernardo Villalona with us. So, Erica, you know, to me, this is fascinating, right? The case is going on. They're going to pursue it. But Alex Murdaugh being deposed behind bars, how does that work?
Listen, this case is just the gift that just keeps on giving. It's so deliciously multifaceted. It's just like there's so much going on in this particular case. But it's not uncommon to have somebody deposed behind bars. It's uncommon that you're deposing a former lawyer behind bars, but it absolutely can happen logistically. And in this set of facts, we have to do this because he has so many different legal issues going on, and the criminal trial came before the resolution before the civil matter, and so these things have to happen. And I mean, logistically, you can't bring him out of jail to do the deposition, and so now you have to go behind the four walls of the jail. Not ideal, but there are some providers who will do that, and under this set of facts, this is what we're doing. You got to kind of look at the irony of all of this. You got a lawyer behind jail doing a deposition while incarcerated. I mean, I can't make this up. I mean, it's so bizarre. So,
Bernard, what do you think is going to be his position in all this at this point? Like, we heard him during the criminal case talking about, I just want to clear his name, want to clear Paul's name. Do you think he still wants to clear Paul's name?
Benny, not the voice.
That. Good.
Not the voice, Benny.
No. So what do you think? What do you think, Bernard? Do you think he still is of that mind and will testify that way and try to clear Paul's name and try to put one of the other victims that was on the boat behind the wheel of that boat?
Well, remember, Benny, that Alex Murdaugh on the day of the boat crash, remember he went to the hospital and he was trying to taint the testimony or taint the interviews of the different kids that were on that boat and trying to make it seem that it was someone else who was driving that boat. So we know that was happening from day one. In terms of what he's going to do during this deposition, who knows? But I think for Alex Murdaugh, he has to keep the song going. And that song is the same one that he played during his trial for the homicide cases, because he also has hope that those cases are going to be appealed and that he wins on appeal, which I highly doubt.
So, Marie, I want to show you a part of the motion for summary judgment. This is like what happens in civil cases. They try to get it dismissed before it goes to trial from the other defendant, which is Parker's. And what they're saying here, and the undisputed evidence shows that Mallory Beach, an adult, she's the victim, knowingly exposed herself to the risk of riding in a boat with the visibly drunk Paul Murdaugh on a dark, foggy night. Even setting aside anyone's intoxication, repeatedly getting back on the boat was plainly dangerous given the dense fog, lack of flashlights or other boating lights, and the absence of life jackets. This is putting the blame on the victim. Do you think that's where Alex Murdaugh will go as well? Because to do that, he's got to sort of admit that his son was wrong here.
I think at this point, he doesn't have a whole lot to lose, because at the end of the day, this civil case is looking for compensation in the sense of monetary compensation, and he may just come out and not even fight that hard, because what else does Alex Murdaugh have left for them to take? When the son was alive, he was afraid that they would come after him.
Well, I will say this, though, Marie. One thing we didn't learn in the criminal trial is, where did all these millions go?
Exactly.
Where did Murdaugh's millions go? Do you have any idea?
Nope, I have no idea. Maybe it was used to buy all that, what was it, oxycodone and Percocets?
That's a lot. That's a lot of oxy.
15 million milligrams per day to make him be in that state that he was.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers here, Bernard, that we're talking about with the millions of Alex Murdaugh, is like, they think it's like 9, 10, 20, potentially $20 million that we're talking. I mean, they don't even know. Every time you talk to the attorney, they say, we don't even know how much money is involved here. We're still trying to figure it all out. Do you think that there's money buried somewhere? Do you think there's money in some offshore account somewhere?
So you're asking me whether he's like Pablo Escobar, so the name,
sort of.
so the money is so the money is somewhere hidden or buried, probably on the same property, all those hundreds of acres of property that he has, or whether it's on some offshore accounts. I think the money is hidden, to be honest, because we are talking about millions of dollars when you do the math from the law firm, they're saying how much money was actually taken. But maybe Cousin Eddie can give us some insight as to where that money is.
Still waiting for him to testify.
Cousin Eddie. I want to hear from Cousin Eddie. That's it. Cousin Eddie. Where's Cousin Eddie?
We invited him on the show. He didn't come on.